Oh, beautiful. Well, here we are again, our fourth class of the 12 Steps in the Red Road. It's been a tough day for me. I didn't get my nap today, and I got a bunch of shipments, so I had to be down there in the store unpacking. So I need a little smudge myself. So sage is very beautiful for removing negative energy. Anything we brought in here, traffic, get me present. And the breath is the other thing. Last night we talked about the among other things, because I didn't get to look at the video. Ashley just fixed it for me though. So this is sweetgrass. This is your in breath. So I let go on the out breath. I draw in on the in breath. And this brings out the sweetness and the beauty. See the beauty, not the beast. So, these classes, Ashley was buying a couple of books that I recommend for the class. The one I like to start with is this Living in Gratitude book, because we're coming off a full moon, call it the wolf moon, and we're going into March. We're right at the end of February, so we're going in March. February is a language of the heart, like Valentine's Day. It's usually the dark, and they've got all these stories about February, but how are we attending to our heart? But March is about compassion, loving kindness, compassionate service, compassionate service. It's to be grateful. I hope I can read this. I got it so dark in here. To be grateful is to recognize the love of God in everything He has given us. And that's such a beautiful thing. One of the things that's kept me sober for over 50 years is waking up and giving thanks that I woke up. And we're moving into the spring equinox and all the gifts of the child, Frankie. That's a love that does not know itself is one of the gifts of the East. Wonder. When did we stop seeing, wake up with new eyes every day rather than waking up with yesterday? So one of the things recovery has taught me is don't go to bed with dirty dishes in the sink, and live in the present, not tomorrow or yesterday, because in recovery I learned that yesterday's only a dream and tomorrow's a vision. But today well lives makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow is a vision of hope. So if I just keep it simple and say, you can bring these teachings, everything I'm teaching, to the breath. It's that simple. I breathe in, I hold some for me, and I let go. So when I get in my head and I get all stressed out, I do the 4-7-8 breath, which is take in and hold some, and then let go, and then, but there's a pause in between the two. So it teaches me to breathe from my belly and not my lungs, to drop the chi from your belly. Like in Tai Chi, we're taught it's our center of gravity. So if you practice Tai Chi, you're moving from your center, not from your head. And Chi's also could be demonstrated, like in my personal growth groups. I used to have two men on either side of a woman, and had her direct her chi down into the earth like the tree with its roots. And if she did that, they could barely lift her. But if she's thinking about paying the bills, they could lift her real easy. So chi is not just a theory; it's a natural law. Being a therapist, I studied a lot of different therapies, but my chosen one was Gestalt, because it rhymed so well, or it resonated so well with the 12 steps of recovery. The short version is I can't, spirit can, so I think I'll let spirit, or listen to spirit, and connect with chi, my center. And I'm doing it better. Mandy's taught me how to take care of myself. I went out there and changed the hummingbird feeders, because I woke up the last couple of mornings and my morning ritual is the hot tub. So going into that hot tub, since I'm a water sign, and I'll start singing songs in there. Or songs will start singing me. I don't have to sing them. But the natives have taught me that when you relax, spirit comes in. If you're trying, you're lying. So letting go absolutely is one of the things that addicts have a hard time doing. This addict had a hard time doing, still does. So I've made a lot of progress, but I'm no longer interested in how many followers I have or how many people. There's a book downstairs called the Gnostic Gospels. I was reading the Gospel of Thomas. It says if we bring forth those gifts that have been given us by Spirit, we will be free. Our fear of death will go away, because we are eternal. That's our soul. And you turn on the TV, it just pulls that energy out, the chi, and you get up in your head. I do. And but I'm proud of myself, because I'm taking the time for myself in the morning to connect with Spirit. And the winter was a hard one for me. And I'm so happy to see the light, because I can really notice the difference, because it's not as near as dark as it has been. But I love the candles, and coming from the January, which is January's gifts are the teacher is it's the yang, it's yin. It's the yin. So the earth and the water are yin, the air and the fire are yang. And I equate that to my left side and my right side. So I practice hitting a ping pong ball 100 times with my left hand, then 100 times with my right hand. And one of the things I talked about last night was right concentration, because concentration extended is meditation. And they say that what concentration is the ability to stay focused in the present for 12 seconds. And if you can do that 12 times 12, that leads into the different states of samadhi, or whatever the bliss that comes through meditation, nirvana, or namaste. That's connecting with spirit, spirit's will for me. and loving kindness, compassion, compassionate service is March. And March is got plenty of stories around it too, the Easter Bunny and the spring equinox. But in the pagan traditions, the solstices and equinox were the power points. Christianity sort of made their Christian holidays close to the pagan holidays. So I'm so grateful that I've learned these things, and that it's led me to making drums. And yesterday I cut out and made 5 horse drums. I was like, my God, because I hadn't had that energy for so long. But when I start taking care of myself, now I took a walk this morning, so it's taking care of mind, body, spirit, and soul. So the west is soul, the north is mind, the east is spirit, and the south is your body. So how are you touching? I've got a great book over there called I Touch the Earth Touches Me. When we walk, are we tromping? Are we marching like the military school I went to? They taught you how to march. And we all had to be trained, perfect cadence. But that's a natural law too. The universe seeks to be in harmony, and fear is the universal destroyer of harmony. So I wanted to let Ashley talk. She comes and does all this wonderful technology for me. And I'm determined to learn new things. That's part of staying young. If you're young at heart, you can learn from everybody's got a gift. And this woman here is an amazing woman. I'm so grateful that she actually paid for this class. So they say where your treasures are, there's where your heart is. So one of the things we talked about is what are the 5 things we hold sacred? It's values clarification, because sometimes we get off track and we don't know how we got there. And you can always bring that back to, I lost touch with what I hold sacred. And if you hold yourself sacred, then you'll hold others sacred. If you hold everybody else sacred and not yourself, they call that codependence. I put other people's needs above my needs. So I'm so grateful for, I'm gonna put this over here between the two of us, so my sister can, maybe from her perspective, she's been to every class, either on Zoom or in person. And Casey's here too, her significant other. And I'd like to ask Ashley to recap what you've learned in the first 2 classes, because I don't want to repeat myself. But I always over-plan for these things. And I wish they were in the morning, because that's when I'm much fresher. But it's perfect that they're now when my energy's low. I'm gonna turn this over and let her talk just for a minute. Let me pour us some tea.
Let's see, the first 2 classes, I spent a lot of time thinking about the 4 directions, and I went home and I read the book, The Sacred Tree. And I was reading about, well, it's just all about the cyclical journey, right? That we just kind of go on and we keep on finding ourselves in the beginning again and again. And that's just kind of the path, and we just keep on walking. And how that is nature, and we just keep on finding ourselves back. But hopefully we've grown or changed and gotten the different perspectives of each of the the seasons that we go through in life. So that's kind of what I took from the first class, was thinking about all the different seasons. Because even, right, to tie it into sobriety, I've been trying to be sober a few times, and each time I come back, I learn a little something different, you know, and so, you know, it's just, you just have always the opportunity to begin again, and the self-reflection of being able to see the wheel mirrored back to you, that your coming and going is okay, and it actually is how we learn, was just a really nice affirmation of life's journey and path. It's not linear. It's always good to come back. So that's kind of what I was taking away from the first couple classes. I think the second class was all about the 12 steps of the shape. I forget what the shape is called though.
The, the, the,
That has the 12 steps around it.
oh, the Chicana.
The Chicana. I think that the second class was about the Chicana. And that was cool. Just to see how that was translated into just, I don't know, going deeper into your own self, and yeah, just sort of see that. And then, I don't know, in the last class, I took another one of your recommendations and I started reading the because and you always talk a lot about play, and so I've been thinking a lot about that too. And I read something really beautiful in that book, The Fourfold Path, about identifying when it is that you stopped singing, dancing, being enchanted with stories, and being okay with stillness. So I've kind of been doing this inventory of when in my life those things kind of stopped, or when in my life was the last time I can remember just singing freely or dancing freely, and yeah, how to reconnect with that spirit that is without all of the things that stop you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Really good, really great book. Really good book.
Books are good guides. I've read a lot of books. I'm educated, and rather than watching the news, I mean, I like to keep up with what's going on, but I take small doses of it. Is it? It's like I'm watching my computer time too, like how much I spend in front of a screen, like right now. But it's a tool. It's like all these things I've given you are tools. It's like every AA meeting I went to, and I went to, my God, 12 years of daily AA meetings, sometimes 2 and 3 days or meetings a day. And it took me 12 years to get what they were saying through my thick head. It's like, oh, you cease fighting. That's cessation. That's Buddhism. That's one thing we covered last. The Four Noble Truths of life is suffering, and I do suffer, but there is a path out of suffering, and that's just what this class is about. Is when you find yourself caught up in the web. I used to have when I teach these classes, I had a big poster board, and I'd do mirror writing. I could do Patrick with both hands. The left goes to the left and the right goes to the right. And all of my artwork is based on both hands. And how did I learn that? I interviewed this man that created that work up there. You can hardly see it because it's dark, but Frank Howell, and they had a reception for him at this gallery where I bought my art. I asked him a question. I said, "Do you create art with both sides?" And he said, "Nobody's ever asked me that before, but yeah, I use my whole body." Because art is time is art. That's a native way. The white man's way is time is money. So that's another great way to. But when you get my age, I'll be 85 this year. I made 5 drums yesterday. Say, how in the hell did I do that? Not because I had to, because I got the spirit. It's like starting a run. Once I'd start, I'd get that energy. But the damn hardest thing is the first step. All journeys begin with the identification of where you are. So on the medicine wheel, the south is where I began to make a drum, like, there's that drum there. See that? This is a bear drum. It's got 3 holes in it. So I start down here and then I go up towards spirit. So this is body, this is spirit. And I'm going this way, which is a good Heyoka way to go. Because clockwise is, I go this way. That's a counterclockwise. But I go both ways. So if I'm using my left hand, I go the other way. So balance is seeking the middle. This cross in the 5 sacred symbols we identified: the cross, the circle, the square, the spiral. This cross is relationship. And we had you rank those 5 symbols in order of your preference. And I actually just bought a book about it's called Signs of Life, which is another Angelus Arian book, which was a woman teacher. So I've had both man teacher and women teacher. This is, by the way, a bear drum, which is in the West. That's why I got black. So, bear drums usually have their best voice in the winter because they tighten up. That's the heartbeat. And then there's the chaos beat, which is. And then there's the 4. Any of these drum, this is the male part of the drum, and this is the woman. This is the circle, which is very female. This is the egg, and this is the sperm. So when they come together, they create a vibration, but we are vibration. Hey, 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 they say the spirits come in on the vibrations of the drum and your voice. So doesn't make a difference what you're singing. You can sing, hey, won't you play me one of them somebody done somebody wrong songs? So I used to love to listen to Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson. Who's the other one? Chris Christopherson. He was a Rhodes Scholar. He wrote this beautiful song called Why Me? It says, why me, Lord? What have I ever done to deserve even one of the pleasures I've known? And it's learning how to be grateful. I ain't the man I want to be, but thank God I'm not the man I used to be. And I'm young at heart. And as long as I keep walking this road and making drums, because that's what Spirit told me to do. It's, create with my hands, because your hands connect you with your heart. So art, whatever your art is, time is art. That's the native way. So you ask people what do they value. I've done these classes for over 20 years, and never have I heard money being mentioned as one of the top 10 values. Because if you look at how people spend their daily time, is it making money? Is it, and having balance is work, play, love, and support. Supports the earth. This is my magic, this is my logic, this is my inspiration here in the north. So when I start making a drum, I'll start with me. Say, what do I want to bring in my personal mesa? And so I put symbols in that, where can we go to our medicine wheel? Let's see. We go share, right?
Yep.
Share. And
You want your photos?
where's the photos?
You might need to open it. Let's see.
She's gonna get me here. Look at that. Oh, I had to minimize to find my photos, and then Red Road. Oh, look, that's,
You want to come? Which one? This?
yeah, that one. Daggone, she's good. This is interesting because I have a stone in the center of this, and the stone's got the red in the south and the white in the north. Because the medicine wheel, all tribes have different. I had a dear friend that I bought 2 masks from today come in. And brilliant man, he brought me some honey. He's got bees, and he raises honey. And he had some lily and pit masks. And I love art, so I bought them. And I don't know why I'm still buying things, you know. I figure I can sell them. I enjoy that. I enjoy trading. Like, I make drums, and my drums have value. I have value. So my uncle was my initiator. He's the one that says, Patrick, you're a great man. I didn't believe him. I said, no, I'm not a great man. What are you talking about? But he saw the beauty in people. And that's what I mean. He would believe in his children even though they were using cocaine and getting, no matter what they did, family was most important. It's just like a mother's love for her child. My mother had 2 boys, me and Pat and Mike. And my brother lived down in Texas. And he loves hearing me talk about the medicine wheel, and his path's a little different. He's a good Methodist, 2 tours of Vietnam, retired colonel. And he's kind of got a little bit of dementia now. He's 2 years older than I am. I'm 84, he's 86. We'll both be 87 in November. Or not both be, he'll be 87, I'll be 85. So, guy came in today was 75. So he's kind of downsizing, getting rid of stuff. I says, I don't know why I keep buying stuff. I guess I love to have it. I love to have art around me. And what do you invest your time, your talent, and your treasure? And my uncle also made another great observation. He says, where your treasures are, there's where your heart is. So if you want to know, look what you value, look at your checkbook and see what you're investing in. When I had kids, I invested in a good education for my child. I sent her to Montessori for the first 9 years. And I studied Waldorf because I had a partner at the time that had 2 kids in Waldorf. And I loved Waldorf education. They say we work as a team, and if we don't go until the least person knows it. I love that philosophy. We don't move ahead until the least of us moves ahead. So we all help each other. Montessori is more about follow the child, the interests of the child, and teach them. You go into a Montessori, you'll see rabbits and all sorts of things, parrots and all these animals and these games, and the kids will just go to what they, and the teacher just looks at what their interests are and teaches them from that. They don't sit them in classrooms and say, reading and writing and arithmetic. That's the way I was raised. What's learning you? That's an old West Virginia term. They don't say, how are you, like they do out here. They say, what did you learn today? What's learning you today? So, I think that having that childlike quality is the South. This is going from the Yang, which is, this is your dream. Every morning, this is the cycle of a day. This is when you fall asleep tonight, you're in the red, you're in the dream. The moment you wake up, you're in the East. So the morning is usually when I'm freshest. And I have a cup of coffee. I used to drink a whole pot of coffee, but I realized that addictions don't come in substances, they come in people. So the only thing I was powerless over that I couldn't handle was alcohol. Alcohol almost took me out, but for the grace of God, through AA and through the Red Road, I have learned not only to follow my heart, which is the teachings of February. The heart was when I did a hand fasting with my wife. We did a tie and the knot together. And every Valentine's Day, we say, do you want to renew our vows? Because if we both want to be together, we have to renew them every year. You don't assume because you got a ring on somebody that they're your property now. So, waking up with new eyes, we call that. And I was talking to Ashley about the East, the gifts of the East, which is the preparing, it's Lent, the Lenten season. I got a friend down in Jupiter, Florida that says, I'm going to do a body cleanse. I'm going to rid myself of all my toxins and go on a diet. That's giving up something for Lent, like purifying yourself ready for the summer solstice, or the Easter, which is the resurrection of Christ. But it's the return of the light. It's all the gifts of the child: wonder, awe, a love that does not know itself. Children are love. They don't know that they're not until we teach them to be a good little boy or girl. And we put all these interjected values into them. And then they grow up and they say, well, I want to do this, but I should do this. So That's that split between the wounded child and the stern adult. So you got to do this. If you don't do this, there's going to be trouble. So, and then we're getting two different. If we come from split homes like I did, you have to integrate what mother says and what father says. And, and I was able to tell my dad how much I loved him. I got drunk at him for years. Then I realized I was just like him. So when I started looking at all the qualities in him I've been projected and accepted them in me, I could see his beauty. But I couldn't see his beauty because I was blinded by my fear, my hatred and anger. And they call that resentments. Resentments don't grow unless you feed them. So you got to get up every morning and decide to hate somebody. Children wake up with new eyes, and they've got all these beautiful spontaneity. Is your life so controlled that you don't have any space in there for the little girl or the little boy? And if you can let go of possessive love, that's one of the gifts of the medicine wheel. But you always start with your first. So the yang is red and yellow. The yin is white and black. So I like to say my left side is my feminine side. My right side's my masculine side. But when they're in harmony, and when I'm walking in balance, which is the red road, the path of balance. Another word for balance is sanity. So we go into sanity, because I was put in a mental institution, an insane asylum, they call it. But the fool is the one that leaps. So the fool is positioned just before the fall. And that's the inward journey. We're coming into the planting season. We got good soil out there at Bear Creek. I'd love to plant a garden, grow some good organic food, and got the best water out there in the world. It's right in the aquifer. I got a well, and I used to bring that back here to drink because I'm not quite trusting the water that Portland's delivering us, full of all these chemicals. So taking loving care of your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul. And the four ridges of life, the unborn and the newborn, which is the first ridge, that's the north and the east. So every night we die, and every morning we're reborn. My grandpa died in his sleep. That's a great way to go, I would say. My grandma, my mother's mother, died with a smile on her face. My dad died kicking and screaming and fighting it because he was a fighter. Just like me, I don't give up. Nothing takes the place of persistence. I'm more like the hare and the turtle and the hare. I procrastinate and wait till the last minute and then I get it done. But I say, if there's no crisis, people won't move until there's a crisis. So I think these times we're in with Mr. Donald Trump and the rule of gold, seems like the people at the top are the Citizens United and all that. I can't do a thing about politics. And in AA, they say we neither endorse nor oppose any causes. So I try to stay out of politics. And I have trouble with fundamentalism, but I had to get over that too, because fear is my compass. say, what you're most afraid of, that's what that's what these rich people taught me. Say they're just as afraid as we are, but they don't let it make decisions for them. How many times does fear make decisions for you? And what kind of courage does it take to walk into the gray clouds of not knowing? And that's going from the body into the soul. So in shamanism, they have soul retrievals because we have soul loss, and that comes from child abuse. And however you were abused, there's 4 ways we're abused: mind, body, spirit, and soul. That's the medicine we have. So some of us weren't physically abused, but we were mentally abused. Some of us were spiritually abused. Some of us were emotionally. Those are the ones that are the deepest scars. Those are soul losses. And so the healers in the old way wouldn't get paid unless everybody was healthy. You don't pay somebody for being sick. You pay somebody for if they're keeping everybody healthy. So that's, in AA, they say you got to give it away to keep it. You can't hold on to it. Yesterday's spirituality do not work for today. So I made those 5 drums yesterday, but today I said, I need to rest. So naturally the bell was ringing all the time because I had some deliveries coming and I didn't get to rest. But anyway, that's when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So this medicine wheel, it changes, but it's good. There's 4 quadrants. It's what do you want for your personal life? That's the south. And what spirit want for you? Like this is what Ashley wants, what Casey wants is over here. And then they make a baby, but where's the Aluna? What's the relationship want? So the Kogi people of Mexico, they have a term called Aluna. And what does the Aluna want? What's the spirit of our relationship? And can we feed the spirit of the relationship rather than what I want or what he wants? Because if we betray ourselves, there's hell to pay. That's the worst kind of betrayal. What I learned is a committed monogamous relationship is to thine own self be true. So first you have to walk around this wheel by yourself, and then you can walk around with a partner. Otherwise, we fall in love, which is the fool. There's nothing wrong with falling in love, but it has nothing to do with love. It has to do with romantic love, which is good for making babies, sports sex, the recreational sex. But anytime you pervert the sacred, there's diseases involved. I had to learn that the hard way. So I tell these young women that come in, I says, I used to have a semi-annual erection, but now I have an annual semi-erection. So that all that Kundalini energy of the double Scorpio, I had a lot of lovers. I was a lover, and I loved the South. And that's the lying meditation. The lying meditation is in the South. That's where we lay down. Who's in your bed? Who's sleeping in your bed? Beware of procrastus. It was that's the root of the word procrastination. It's procrastus only had an N, and he'd go out and try to sell people a room, and he only had one room and one bed. If he lured somebody into his room, they slept in his guest room, And they were too big for the bed. He'd go in there and chop their arms and legs off until they fit in his bed. He called that procrastus. And when we procrastinate, that's putting off the good. I say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll play when I retire. So every day, it's play is the domain of the East, and all these gifts. And we pray for these gifts of the East. And we're sitting in the West looking East. That's but when I make a drum, I go from body to spirit, and then I go around to the child, the adult, and we go into the elders, and then we go back into spirit. This is the first ridge. This is the second ridge of life. This is the third ridge. And over here's the fourth ridge. That's a cycle of a breath. That's a cycle of a day. So I practice staying sober one day at a time. Sometimes what am I working all the time? I go out to Bear Creek and sit out there for a while, and I say, what am I doing in Portland? All that busyness, fire engine going by. It's the addiction to intensity. The four universal addictions. Did I cover that?
I think you mentioned it before,
Yeah.
but it doesn't
Worth-
hurt to,
Worth re-mentioning.
yeah.
The addiction to intensity, the addiction to perfectionism. Like people come in and look at my drums and they'll find one with a hole in it. And they'll say, that drum's got a hole in it. And I said, so? Well, is it going to break? No, it's a portal. Don't you have holes in you? Says that's the wounded healer. So once we walk through the wound and not dance away from it. So the wound is the fear. So if you let fear make decisions for you, procrastinate, play until you retire, and then you're too old to play, and you get resentments because you saved all your life and you're not happy. Happiness isn't having what you want, it's wanting what you have. And that's the beauty of gratitude, is one day at a time. Sometimes one breath at a time. If you're new to recovery, it's, well, I can not use today. I can handle that. And sometimes you have to break it down to the breath. When I first got sober, I could stay sober about 30 days and then I'd say, well, I'm cured now. So then I'd go back out and I just went on down the one-way elevator until I hit bottom. And they say that's down at the bottom is the south. That's the surrender, the deflation of ego at depth. So how's spirit supposed to work with a closed heart, closed mind, closed spirit, closed soul? So each one of these gifts, this is body, this is soul, this is spirit, and this is spirit, and this is dream, the dream time, which many cultures say is the real time. When we wake up, we're in Maya, we're in the illusion. So our ancestors teach us at night in our dreams. One of these, we go back to, let's see, Red Road class. Is that what I do?
Here, click here.
Where is that?
What did you want?
What was I just talking about? This is from Angela's area. This is the medicine wheel. So down here, she's got the heat, the lying meditations in the south, and she has The teacher is over here in the west. That's the yin. The teacher is silence. Say, silence is golden. Them that know don't speak, and them that talk all the time don't know. So the sacred grows in our silence. So when we take this space for ourselves, even if it's just taking a walk, but not walking so damn fast. Like I took a walk around the block this morning, and I used to have a Ayurvedic teacher who says, "See how slow you can walk around the block. Just mosey. Don't, oh, I gotta get my blood work up." But everybody's passing me, This old man, get out of the way. Slow down to the speed of life. So the healers in the West, that's the woman, the yin. But the yin and the yang are interwoven. We're interwoven with both and, not either or. Like our current administration is saying, you're either a woman or a man. There's no third people like the natives had. They'd have the berdash, the gay men and women. They would show women how to become man and show men how to access the feminine aspect. That's really important to have both and change your language. And changing your language, which is the other thing I have here, be impeccable in your word is another way to say that. Another of the 4 or 3 agreements of the 4 agreements. Always do your best. Don't take the actions of others personally. That's the hardest one. Because I used to say in counseling school, the behavioralist would say, well, if somebody's acting like an asshole, avoid loud, aggressive people. They're vexations to your soul. So I kind of eliminate my friends that talk all the time because I like the silence. It used to be I wanted to fill it up. I couldn't just rest. It was really hard. But Mandy's taught me because she takes really good care of her body. I do it, put a wash out today and folded all my clothes. And I took the time for a personal day to attend to what I hold sacred in my body, my soul. Tonight I used to keep a dream journal. So every morning I'd wake up and write my dreams down. And then we'd do theater around that. It's called psychodrama. So we'd recreate your dream and we'd have the circle playing different parts of your dream. That's when the spirits talk to us. That's the unknown. So let's see. Now if I go back from this, how to go to the pictures. What? Oh, here we go. Okay, let me see. Oh, this Yohari's window is a good one. Okay. This is another 4. It's in the form of a square. So I love this. I learned this in counseling school. There's the first ridges, or the first box is the part that I share with you, and you share with me. So if you got friends, they'll tell you the truth. They won't try to put you on a pedestal. A friend, if you got 2 or 3 friends, you're rich. You don't say money, you can't eat it, you can't take it with you. But friendships are precious. So lovers come and go, but friends endure. And a friend will tell you the truth. They won't put you on a pedestal or want pieces of you. So this is the interaction between me and you. This is like, this is listening and speaking. Now down here in this third window is the part I keep hidden. And in recovery, that's what we have to confess in step 4 of 5. We did a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And then we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our barriers to aliveness, is the way I language that. They call it defects of character, but I don't think we're defective. I think we're blocked. And so this part down here that I keep hidden, when I confessed that in my 4th, 5th step, I had my first peak experience. I mean, I had all these secrets and I let them out. And nothing can grow in the dark. So this is the peak part that I keep hidden. Transparency, that's what creates functional community. You're only as sick as your secrets, is what Bill Wilson used to say. So if I'm telling the truth, I ain't got anything to fear. So this hidden area, and then the 4th area is the unknown. It's a dream. So if you got good friends like Bob, they'll say, you know, he sees the beauty in me and I see the beauty in him. I don't, and he laughs a lot. So those are 4 bones you got to keep open. That's the backbone. That means you got to stand up to challenges of life, driving a car and living and getting the kids to school and taking care of things. That's backbone, standing up to injustice. 4 bones, 4 everything. There's mind, body, spirit, and soul. There's what I know, what you know about me that you're not telling me. But if you got friends, they'll tell you what you don't want to hear. They say the worst thing you can tell about me is the truth. But if I'm telling the truth, I don't have anything to fear. So fearless, we took a fearless and searching inventory of ourselves. That's the cleanup steps of the 12 steps. That's steps 4 through 9. We clean up the wreckage of your past. I didn't clear any wreckage, yeah, right. These 4 areas, we're all wounded. We're all from the Scar clan, me included. And I'm so grateful to have, you know, I even lost track of my sobriety date because it's been so long, 50 years. I keep all my journals going back to when I did that 5th step. I have journals going all the way back to 1975. I've got them in boxes, and it's amazing how damn smart I was. I wasn't wise, but I was smart. So one of the gifts of the North is freedom from knowledge. Wow. Freedom from love, freedom from hate, freedom from knowledge. That's the dream, takes all that away. That's the free. I want to be free, so free like the dolphin in the sea. I want to fly high, so high like the eagle in the sky. And when my day is done, I'm going to lay down and die. When my morning rises, I'm going to rise up and fly. That's Pachamama song. That's the gifts of the South, of the Chicana. Pachamama is a teacher plant that it took me. I avoided any kind of drugs when I was sober because I didn't want to alter my mind. And But I finally, Spirit told me to do a ceremony because I had a lot of fears, and so I didn't want to know anybody else's experience. I wanted to have that experience. Like the natives will never tell you what a sweat lodge is like. They'll say, "Well, come and find out." Because if they tell you what their experience was, you'd have a kind of an impression going in. It's like, you got to see this movie. It's a great movie. Don't tell me that. Tell me what you got out of it. Like, Yohari's window is another beautiful, simple. The four things we need to do before we die, it comes from the north, is thank you, please, or forgive me, please forgive me, I forgive you, thank you, I love you, goodbye. If you can say that and end relationships rather than leave them in chaos. Like men don't know how to finish. It seems like we know how to start things, but Aries are great starters, fire signs, but they have a hard time finishing. So that's what making the drum is, going all the way around that wheel. Now I've made thousands and thousands of drums, and it's like my hands know what to do. It's like driving a car when you're first learning. My God, it's really hard. Or riding a bike, or getting up from standing to, or from lying down to standing. It's a whole series of movements called Feldenkrais, where they watch babies and how they go from rolling over. They don't defy gravity. And how they get up, how they go from crawling to standing. And how elders, we tend to hold our breath when we get up. But you don't move until your breath starts. So that if I'm trying to lift something and I'm holding my breath, it's very hard, but I'm practicing every day. Like I lift that hot tub cover every morning, getting in that hot tub. And it takes effort to lift it. But I'll let go. And then it's a lot more effortless if I don't defy gravity.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you've mentioned before that when you have something you're struggling with, or something's on your mind, or you need direction, you consult the medicine wheel and it helps you see.
It's a map, it's a compass.
Yeah.
It says, what am I avoiding? I asked myself questions. It's like I know, I had a story this winter that I couldn't do all this by myself. And then I went from that place to, not only can I do it, but I can do it with grace and ease. So I've got these stories I tell myself, you can't. Well, the Course of Miracles says, argue for your limitations, and they are yours. So anytime you say, I can't, change that to I won't. There's another one here that, where, how did you get to this?
Yep. So it goes back.
Right there, okay. Where is my little, oh, here, I believe it's right here. Here's another, okay, how can we make that bigger? Hey, that's great. Heartspace is the journey from the head to the heart. Circulation is the heart. Patience is the heart. Space is the heart. Love comes from the heart. Wisdom comes from the heart. Compassion comes from the heart. So language, these are the splits that I've identified so far. Words or phrases that come from either or Western language, fixing defensive postures. Like I watch if people are crossing their arms, it means they're feeling defensive. Practicing rather than nurturing, or protecting rather than nurturing. Like sometimes we feel threatened, we start protecting ourselves. Risking, real and authentic. The following create a victim abuser mentality. Black and white thinking. These are the dichotomies: heaven, hell, either or, good, bad, right, wrong, win, lose, all, nothing, all or nothing, never, always, it, but, generalizations like we all, and you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We all do that. So it's bringing it down to I do that. You first own it yourself before you start practicing. Everybody does that. I used to be in a men's group and they'd start speaking, we all need to. I said, speak for yourself, don't speak for me. I'm in your we. So this helps if we take these generalizations, can't, like change that to won't, or I'm not ready for it right yet. But can't is arguing for your limitations. I don't know. In counseling, they say, well, if you did know, what would you do? You don't let them get by with, I don't know. I'm afraid to tell you. The truth will set you free, but we protect our sacred cows. Generalizations, we all, our culture, can't, I don't know, try. My counselor said, try to throw that tennis ball at me. I want to see what that looks like. He said, try is a dead word, it's clutter.
Yeah.
Say, I will,
Right.
or I won't. No, thank you. No is a complete sentence. So, or here's another great one. You make me feel. You make me feel. That's projecting. In Gestalt, they say, own your projections, because you see the negative in everybody else, but you don't see it in yourself. So if you accept it, it has no power over you. But if you're projecting it, you make me feel. Should, I should do this, but I really want to do this. That's the wounded child. That's an introjection. Explanations, justifications. Anytime you're justifying or explaining, you're not on a spiritual path anymore. You understand that? So expectations. Well, I expected you to. Well, expectations are planned resentments. So I used to have a fellow who showed up for my drum circles late. I called him Ted Time. The circle started at 7 and Ted come in about 7:15. And he was always late. So I learned about expectations because I was a perfectionist. Well, I'm not going to let him in if he didn't show up on time. And I said, lighten up. So then I said, well, Ted will show up or he won't. But all I got to do is show up myself. And whoever's supposed to be there will be there. That's spirit working. So rather than it, substitute it. That's another one. Mandy and I, she'd say, it scared me. And I'd go, shh. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, and it's shit. Shit scares me.
Oh.
Say I.
Uh-huh.
Substitute I for it.
Yeah.
I'm scared rather than it scares me. That's another projection. That's another clutter in your language. So, and the other affirmations, I am Patrick. I say, are you Native American? I'm Patrick. And people want to put you in a box. I was born here in America. Does that make me Native American? My dad was born here, and his dad was born here, and his dad was born here. So I got native blood. I will, where we got to go down now. And rather than but. I love you, and I didn't like what you did last night. But if you tell a kid, I love you, but, I mean, you see a pretty girl, I love your butt. But the but separates everything you said before it. If you start connecting things rather than separating them. I ask permission. There's people that don't have any boundaries, just like I used to wear my medicine bag. Now I keep them hidden because people come up and they don't know. You don't touch people's body without asking permission. It's like, don't make any assumptions. It's like, ask. As a kid in school, I'd be afraid to ask a question because they'll think I'm stupid if I don't know. Somebody else would ask. I said, thank God they asked. So this is having the courage to look like a fool. That's making clear agreements. Like, what's the parameters of our friendship? You know, it's like, you can always change the agreement, but agreements are like a handshake used to be an agreement. If I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. But I'm getting careful about saying yes to things that I don't know yet if I want to do it. So it's taking the space to process. That's your teeth. Since I've lost all my teeth, I've got these snap-ins. And I'm so grateful because I can chew on things. But some people don't know how to swallow anything. They just keep chewing on things. Those are the great starters, but they can't finish things. I've been trying to get some apprentices, drum makers, and everybody's too busy to work with their hands. See? So I teach making the drum is completing a gestalt. A gestalt is an unfinished situation. It's like an open-ended relationship that I didn't finish relationships until I learned this stuff. And I was talking to my old girlfriend. She was a lot younger than me, and we had an agreement. She says, "Oh, I want a family." I says, "Well, I don't want a family. Well, let's just be in a relationship wholeheartedly, and then we can change the agreement when you're ready to." So now she's married and got kids, and she called me today. And she taught at Waldorf. She taught drum making because I taught her how to make a drum. But we had an ending ceremony. And we said, these are the gifts that you gave me. And we just cried like babies. It's called finishing. That's the intention of steps 4 through 9. It's called cleaning up the wreckage of your past, because you can't walk with a whole heart if you got a lot of clutter in your past. What time is it?
7:44.
Okay. Accountability. I am accountable. It's like I do the accounting for my books. I got a letter from the city of Portland said I owe them $1,300 today. Well, I just take a picture of it and send it to my CPA. They take care of that, but I know where the gold is. They say if you don't know where the gold is, you don't have any gold. It was learning how to hold the sacred and learning how to say no. And when you're used to people pleasing, we avoid and say, well, maybe tomorrow. Well, I don't know. Well, if you did know, what would you do? Well, I'm not ready to make that decision yet. How long you want? So it's like procrastination, saying, well, it's okay to be afraid. You don't try to rape people into change. You meet them where they are. And if they feel safe, they'll let go of some of those old behaviors. So, and then the things I learned from women, there's the aspects of the goddess. This is Lynn Andrews. She wrote many books, and I was dating a woman that read them all, and she got me to read them, and then we went to see her, and I ended up being a vendor at her gatherings for 16 years in Joshua Tree, California, and Abiquiu, New Mexico at the Ghost Ranch down there. About 200 women and a few men. She talked about the two types of women. There's great nurturing mother. That's Tara. That's the one that'll make sure you're fed and make sure you're all tucked in. And you got your coat and you got your, she nurtures you. But if you don't let her nurture you, she'll kill you. That's called death mother. That's her dark side. So the other type of woman is rainbow woman, and she inspires her children. I'll take you to the opera. I'll take you to the theater. Take you to the OMSI. You know, so you wanna inspire the child. That's called rainbow woman. But her dark side is crazy woman. Because if you don't let her inspire you, she'll drive you crazy. So we all have a dark side and a light side. And the shadow, and learning to dance with the shadow is, there's a great book called Shadow Dance that I sometimes have people buy because it teaches you the accursed share. There's so many books that deal with the shadow. But the West is the shadow in the medicine teachings. So that's all I want to do for that one. You got some questions or comments? We got a few more minutes, don't we?
I've never heard those feminine aspects before. I like it. I think I'm the rainbow one. Can't get them fed, but I can get them to OMSI.
That's learning your dark side and learning how to take a walk in nature or go out, because nature is God's tranquilizer. That's sitting out there at Bear Creek, just watching that creek. The Cherokees had 4 vision quests, just like the Lakotas. They have 4 years you do a vision quest. Well, I got my vision in the first year. So I went up there and I said, Creator, I'm not happy. I've learned how to make money, but it doesn't bring me happiness. What am I supposed to be doing? And I had a dream of a little girl rolling a hoop down a hill, and it transformed into a bear. And I asked the elders, what does that mean? They said, follow the drum. The hoop is the drum. The hoop is the circle. The little girl is coming into your life. That's your feminine little girl. They bond with horses. The little girl is fearless. The bear is guarding your heart. And when you start loving yourself, that little girl shows back up. She's, oh yeah. You learn to play, not just work all the time. So there's more, but that's probably enough for tonight. I usually prepare this room. I love the darkness. I love the candles. You can't see them, but let me get out of this thing.
Where's this?
How do I do that? Up there?
Yep.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, and then this.
There. Okay. Well, we made it through another week. Lots of things to chew on. Casey, I see you. That's beautiful. And Frankie,
Say again.
I'm going to make a closing prayer
All right.
and ask the Great Spirit to all these words that I've said tonight and that Ashley said, and process them, chew on them. Say, sometimes I have to hear things over and over and over again till they sink through my thick head. But it would give you some food to chew on. And that's in Gestalt, they say, the teeth are where you break things down. And some people don't know how to swallow, they just keep chewing on things. So the process of eating is you can watch somebody eat and tell you how they live their life. Like some people addicted to intensity will gulp their food down. And some people eat real slow, like I always was a slow eater. I like to chew, and I love the taste of things. But when I didn't have any teeth, I had these false teeth. I had to put things in them. And I got some those snap-in teeth. And now I've lost a couple of those fangs, but going to the dentist is not my favorite thing. And it's expensive as heck. So there's some things that I'm avoiding. Pain. But pain's a touchstone for all spiritual progress. And so, Great Spirit, I'd ask that you watch over Ashley and Casey and Frankie, and let these teachings sink in, and process. Keep us all safe. Give us good health, long life. Give us joy, the gratitude. Help us open the doors of looking at what we have and gratitude rather than what we don't have, what we need. And pray that you keep us all safe until we gather again in circle. Hope. So how do we end this thing?
Press the stop button.
Stop recording?
Mm-hmm.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bye. Stop recording.